All right, we're in the final portion of the Miami Dolphins 2022 season, and it doesn't feel good. It feels like a typical Dolphin season, but you got to let the evaluation finish off. 2 games left, and I hear some comments like, what difference does it make if we make the postseason? We're just going to get bounced out anyway. And I understand that, but I like to think in a full perspective way. I saw 2 Super Bowls, Dolphins lost. Saw a lot of playoff games with Dan Marino. Saw the Jimmy Johnson time with some playoffs. Late. There's some interest there. Of course, Dan got destroyed by the Jags. Then I saw a little Stash, his action, and the 2 playoff appearances and blowouts since. So I've had a lot of Dolphins postseason excitement, but there's a whole host of Dolphins fans. If you've been a Dolphins fan like the last 20 years, you've seen 2 blowouts in the postseason. For the Dolphins to make the postseason this year, it's exciting. There's a little bit of hope joy. And that's what this thing is about. Now, I know the Dolphins franchise doesn't like to bring joy. It likes drama, but not really joy. So I'm hoping for that segment of the fan base. It's not just about me and my wants. We're a family, and there's plenty of fans that would be happy to see postseason, even if it's a blowout. Because leading up to that, they got the hope. Like, maybe this is the year, maybe something. So it's no skin off my nose, and I do hope we make it for them. And for the small little chance that we could possibly make something happen. Now, I know the deal. I'll get into that. I'm going to cover that in the next portion. I'm also going to go over a little thing about Tua and his concussion and just a hard reality of that decision and what the clear choice is for him. And then I'm going to talk about a bunch of other things with injuries that seem to come up all over the place, a little framework around all this stuff, and then talk about Teddy quickly heading into this game and basically what this situation needs. And so there's a couple of news bits that are sprinkled in there. So that's the whole shebang Tuaism that I'm going to go over. So I want to thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. You guys make this channel go. I know it's not easy now, so I really appreciate you coming by, guys. I'm with you, though. I'm with you. We're all together. So I want to thank you, and I give a shout-out to Eich, my sponsor, because without you and without them, this show ain't going down. Aceperhead's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so I want to go over this little bit first off. Now, Eichenberg's off the IR. He's back on the roster. Yay! We're saved. So I saw this little thing, and I understand it, but I also got aggravated because I'm not sure how to feel because I want to know what his real intention is. But you see here, Dolphins OC Frank Smith agrees LG is not an easy call with Liam Eichenberg and Rob Jones as options. It's a very easy call. I mean, he's got to say, these guys, I understand, they got to lie to us. They got to say things that they might not even believe because you're dealing with people in the background. I hope this is just to make Eichenberg feel better when they bench him for Jones. Because if Eichenberg starts this week, that's really insane for many reasons. But Eichenberg is one of the worst guards in the league. Can't run block, struggles. He hasn't really played for a while. It would be moronic for him to start. Jones has his issues. He's not perfect, but there's things he can do well. And one of those things is run block. We should run this week. If we come out going deep, I'm going to be a little concerned. So I understand this part. I'm hoping it's just massaging of egos. So this one's going to be an important one for me to see how it plays out. Now, we've got this Jets game coming up, and that's the key game. And then we have the New England game, which is not going to be easy. It's on the road. They can rush the passer. They can cover. They can run the football a little bit, but they don't really got much of an offense. But we don't got much of a defense. Thankfully, they had that ridiculous loss last week, and then they had the fumble going into the Bengals because they legitimately could have locked this thing up without total screw up. So I'm thankful for that. This game has some weight to it, but it doesn't have the weight of the Jets game. That's going to be a critical one. So whatever happens this week, it doesn't put a death knell on our season. It'll be the following week against the Jets, but I'm really concerned with them. Mike White is the quarterback. He's going to be healthy, and they're going to be dangerous. But there's a lot to watch for this game. So hopefully the Jets lose to Seattle this week, and it'll make things a lot more smooth. So we'll see. So before I get into the rest of stuff, I want to get into Tua concussion thing. And the choice, people talking, should he play this week? Should he play next week? Should he play this season? Should he not play at all? Should he come back late? All kinds of stuff. And really, Tua's got to make that decision. He's a grown man. You know, if he wants to, as long as he's got informed consent, then let him do whatever he wants to do. But what I want to do here quick is, as I said, I'm going to cut this small piece out and put it out. And hopefully, if he's not already in this road, he might use some of this as wisdom. Now, I got 3 young kids and a wife who I love. I was almost dead this year. I mean, like, they thought I was going to be dead. Walk in there like, oh, I don't feel good. It's like, ah. And I had to walk out of that doctor's office with my kids and wife sitting there, and I saw the look on my face. And the look I saw on their face, if I had to break the news to them, was terrifying, terrible, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And I know there's people going, oh, I hope he retires, I hope hoping he gets a head injury. He's got a young child. He's got a young wife that he's just got married to. He's in his early 20s. He's got a family that loves him. Millions of people that care for him. You can't wish that on anyone. And I don't wish it on him to be in this situation. The kid's got his life ahead of him. He's young. He can find another purpose in his existence. He's got a nice bank account. As I said, he's got the young child who might not know or daddy's gone or daddy can't talk or because his head got rattled or whatever. But eventually that child will know. And he's got a young wife who's probably terrified. And he's got a mother and father and family that love him. And that's got to be the thing. And I understand if you're poor and you're trying to get that money, maybe you roll the dice. But at this stage, you got to weigh it out. And life, family, health is far more paramount. Now, last little bit here. Tua is a Christian. And this is the part I want to get to him. If you look in Corinthians, it says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. Now, whatever you think about this, or religion, or whatever, I'm trying to reach him where he's at. If he destroys his brain, damages his brain, it is not serving his faith. So, God, country, and family. Just go. Family and God is telling him, wisdom says, do not continue. He's got 3 concussions. He had the one in 2020. These things are really coming quicker and quicker. And maybe he could play for another 10 years. Who knows? But do you really want to roll the dice? Do you want to cut 10, 20, 30? I mean, look at some of these guys, what's happening to them. So for me, Tua, you need to get out. Stop it. It's more about unimportant stuff, your desire to play, your desire to make known, your desire to get a bigger contract, whatever, than it is about the most critical aspects. So I hope you retire, kid. I really, really, really do for you. And it's not because you suck, but you're being wise. And that's what life's about, being wise. So now, some odd things that I heard, and I didn't really, again, it doesn't strike me, Joe Shad brought up, I believe, how this, maybe it wasn't Joe Shad, I don't know, it was somebody. Like, Tua was misdiagnosed. His head hit the turf. O.C. Smith noticed some inconsistencies in the way he was acting. He's throwing the picks, and then nobody really questioned it. I don't think I'm not saying they got a bad bone in their body, but it goes back to this wisdom. They should have been wiser with this kid. And again, I'll tie that back to Ross and to Greer and the framework around this kid. It's been very poor. I'm not saying it's malicious. I don't even think Ross and Greer forcing him in 2020 was malicious, just not wise. So I thought that was a little something. I don't know where that goes, but it's kind of gained a little bit of... I forgot who it was. One of the ESPN guys, maybe. Anyway, so I just want to throw that out there. Now, going on to further injury issues. Chubb's injured. He's got a bad hand. He's got issues elsewhere on his body. And in a bubble, it is what it is. It's the game. But we invested so much in a guy with a vast injury history. And now he's banged up. He's wearing a cast on the hand, which will make it a lot more difficult to operate, to get off blockers, to make tackles. Was this a wise purchase? Right now, it's looking like an overpay, and it's not because of his performance. I still think that if you put him in a different scheme and you get him better secondary, he'll do fine. But you spent a ton, gave away a ton in draft capital, and the past of injuries is continuing. So stay tuned on that one. Now, my man Terron got another injury, a knee. He's got the toe, he's got the pec, he's got the Achilles, and now he's got the knee. Another roll of dice on an injury-prone player, an injury history player. I love my man Terron. He changes his team when he's in like nobody's business. But again, the wisdom of the situation. All these things are kind of coming together. Now, next year, maybe nobody gets hurt who's got this history. But you have to ask yourself, this is a theme. Why do we keep getting in this game? We need him. And he's going into a tough game, and we got to hope he's going to be available that last week, week 18, against the Jets, because we're going to need him like nobody's business. Now, also, if you check, we have the worst punt and kick return coverage. And we had Noah, who he can't, he's a wasted, he's done. He's finished. He can't cover, so we had to bring Crossan in to bring him in, and Crossan's terrible. So what does that say about Noah? But by bringing Crossan in to cover so much, we pulled this special teams ace out of special teams, and it's kind of dragged down our special teams. Again, it goes back to the past. It goes back to what are we doing with our build? And some people, I was talking to somebody, and real smart guy, I like him a ton. But he was like, I said, we could add Zach Dom. He's like, yeah, we know you like Zach Dom. We hear about it. I keep saying it over and over again. It's not about the pick. I'm not some draft genius. But you have a bunch of linebackers. You have a bunch of receivers that you paid up the yin-yang for. And then you're struggling with your secondary and you're struggling with your offensive line. And Zach Tom's sitting there who you brought into an interview. And then you go draft a linebacker who hasn't done anything. You draft a receiver who hasn't done anything. It's wisdom. How do you add to an overstuffed, talented groups where you have other areas that are totally languishing and you don't take a roll of the dice on them? My theme of the day is lack of wisdom. That's the main problem. But again, I will say it starts at the top with Ross and then works its way to Greer and then down to the rest of the people. But the people at the bottom are always the one left holding the bag. So I do think we can win this week. Teddy's going to come in. I said I wanted Teddy over Skylar. It's always the same. Young guy, you really don't know much about him, and you're super excited. He's the greatest. Kid struggles when he comes in. His problem in college was bad decision-making. So if you put him behind a bad offensive line, you make him throw vertical, which means it's more difficult to complete, and he's got to stand by that bad protection longer. How is that going to help his decision-making? It isn't. It's like fighting with 1 + 1 is 9. It's not. 1 + 1 is 2. So this kid needs to sit in the back, let him marinate, get him a better offensive line like you should have had Tua, give him a better run game like you should have had for Tua, and try to see if you can get this kid to have better decision making. And that happens when you protect him, just like they did with Brady. They put him in there and said, get me my 20, 25 touchdowns, and we're going to hand the ball off a lot, play smart ball, develop your game, and then as you finally get there, we'll give you a little more. If you can do it, we'll give you a little more, and then finally you'll be developed enough to go to that next level. But we don't like to do that. And I'm thankful for Teddy to come in, and he's going to handle it, and I think he can pull out the win if he doesn't get that boneheaded play. If we run the ball consistently, don't ask him to be the whole 9. I think we can win it. And that would be a nice build-up for this Jets game with Teddy, who's a good guy, who's coming back. He's a Miami guy, a New Florida guy. He can come and play the Jets, and maybe, whether he's the future or he finds a starting job, this could be a moment for him next week to beat the Jets, to put the team of his people into the playoffs, and a great memory for the kid. And he's a great, great guy. So I think the chances are there. I do truly believe it's limited compared to what Tua was, because Tua has certain assets I've spoken in the past that fit perfectly with this offense. But we do have the opportunity. But we're going to have to see what happens this week. And it's going to come down to what does McDaniel, what does Smith do as far as game plans, and then calls within that. Hopefully we just run the football in pass balanced at least. So we'll see with that. But I do like Teddy. I think those fans out there who just want to see us get to the playoffs, there is plenty of hope left. Now, the ceiling for the season is totally diminished. And I don't think Tua should come back. Like I said, I think he should retire. But there is hope, guys. So I'm going to dig into tomorrow with the matchups between the Jets, with the New England versus the Dolphins. I'm kind of looking it over right now. It's a dangerous game, but I'll have that for you tomorrow. So I want to thank you for stopping by. Enjoy it for what it is. Somebody said I might be going to the New England Dolphins game. I don't know. I said, go, enjoy. Find the beauty of the moment, whatever it is, because you can't control anything other than your mindset and how you're taking the situation. Go and enjoy, guys. Enjoy this final ride. Enjoy whatever happens after that. And in the offseason, you can fret and worry and hope for this and that. Anyway, this is Curtis saying thanks for staying to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. Go Fins. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.